What is the best way to make a witch more badass? Well, you just give her a flamethrower, that's how. This is Trigger Witch. Trigger Witch is a game that I've been quite excited about since it was first revealed. It's from the same minds as Reverie, another Zelda-inspired game, but this is Zelda as a twin-stick shooter. That firstly ticked a box, and then add an incoming physical version and count me in. Here we have a girl called Colette, a witch in training at the School of Witchcraft and Triggery. And yes, the puns are heavy in this one. Every gun-based pun is locked and loaded for this game. I hope you're not adverse to such things, because you're gonna go ballistic otherwise. In this world, witches are no longer powerful mages. It's less about the broomsticks and more about the boomsticks. Here in this kingdom, guncraft is pretty much a religion, but that's under threat from a mysterious man in black. No, not Tommy Lee Jones or Will Smith. Or is it? That's for you to uncover. It's not Tommy Lee Jones. The story proves to be a simple but charming affair that has some attempts of humor mixed in with a bit of emotion that didn't particularly penetrate my cold ass heart, but I appreciated the endeavor. There's also a not so subtle allusion to certain historical events in real life, if that's the sort of commentary you need. The gunplay though is as classic as it's always been for the twin stick genre. It's simple and gets the job done, and most importantly, you're having a good dollop of chaotic fun with it. You move with one stick, you aim with the other, and fire with the back shoulder button. Enemies often arrive in waves, charging at you, each with their own unique attacks. Some charge blindly, some try to snipe you from a distance, others have homing attacks. I was impressed by the amount of enemy variety here. Initially I was worried about how many enemies there were going to be, since it took a while for the variety to arrive, but it does eventually, until each skirmish has so many different kinds of enemies coming at you. The game prides itself on being bloody and brutal, which, to be fair, it's not really. The only thing like this is the blood spatter from the enemies after you massacre them, and that's it. To be honest, you'll become numb to that after a few moments anyways, and the game wouldn't be any different without it. You'll also get a variety of boomsticks at your disposal, and the game does a good job of spreading them out. Usually with these Zelda-likes, I think they tend to do an unbalanced job of giving out the goods. Either they get too eager and give you too much too quickly, which makes things rather boring later, or starve you of something new and interesting to play with. But not here. Trigger Witch has all the usual weapon types: Uzis, machine guns, grenade launchers, and a flamethrower, which is an instant 10 out of 10 in any game. It's a lot of fun, and due to the reloading mechanic, you're constantly switching between the lot of them. There is one thing I did have an issue with, and that was that many weapons felt exactly the same as each other. Yes, the rate of fire, damage output, and ammo capacity was different, but I rarely found it necessary to switch between them unless I had to reload, even more so once they were all upgraded a bit. There was rarely a, oh, I need to switch to this to deal with this enemy or this situation. The flamethrower is a perfect example of that. You defeat ice enemies and ice barriers, so it's situational and also solves environmental issues. I needed it at that time. Very few guns did that, and I wish more did, because mostly I didn't care if I was using the shotgun, machine gun, Uzi, they just all felt the same to me. I think they could have done with something like, I don't know, an ice gun that froze enemies which were impervious to normal damage, and maybe you could push them off a cliff or maybe shatter them with your bullets then. And you can also use it to do some puzzle solving. How about a wind blaster? Some enemies have those. How about you? Those are just some of my ideas straight off the top of my head just right now, instead of having like 5 bullet weapons. Game devs, hire me. There is a simple Zelda progression to the game. If you've played a top-down Zelda game before, you'll feel right at home with this one. There's a fairly large, semi-open world to explore: the beach, the snow-topped mountains, a marsh, and the like, and there are a few secrets to be found here that can help you in your quest, but the most interesting action is in the dungeons. There's only a handful, but they are quite large and lengthy. Now, I could sit here a good long while and nitpick things that make the game not quite in the same league as classic Zelda, but honestly, that would be doing a disservice to what is a nicely designed game. The dungeons are fairly simple and don't require too much ingenuity to get through, but they are cleverly designed that they make these large, multi-floored mazes somehow flow together smoothly without much instance of wandering around aimlessly. Each of them have a different feel to them, and they take a bit of time to get through with some puzzle solving and challenge. The bosses are a little hit and miss, but overall, it is a fun time. I'd like to give a shout out to the music now, which, like some other aspects, originally gave me a foreboding due to being almost unapologetically similar to Zelda, but as it goes on, you'll find some great tunes and I really enjoy the dynamic changes. There's basically two versions of a song, one that plays nicely and daintily while you're exploring, but will then seamlessly change into a remixed, upbeat, frenetic rendition when you're battling. It makes me excited to get the soundtrack from the limited collector's edition, which I may as well talk about now, but firstly, just so you know that this is going to be available digitally on the eShop and other consoles. On the Switch, it's at least it's £13.50 in the UK, €15 and US dollars. That is a really nice price for what is going on. Zelda-likes tend to have a little price ramp just for the comparison alone, so I think this is rather grounded. It takes about 8 hours or so in length for a casual standard playthrough. That's without getting all the weapon upgrades. I think I finished at like 81% completion rate, but I don't think it would take too much longer to mop up the rest after I'd finished. And this is available physically, of course, in a limited capacity. If you're watching this a year in the future, then it's probably a little bit too late for you, but if you're here right now, in the present, this is available physically as a Play Asia exclusive in a standard edition and a collector's edition, which includes a CD of the fine soundtrack within. I definitely can't wait for that. There's only 2,000 units of that available for the Switch and PlayStation 5. There is a link below in the description as to where you can buy this, and if you use those links, it massively helps support the channel at the same time. Plus, in return for your amazing support and using our links, you can also get a very nice 5% off if you use the coupon code SwitchWatchTV. While checking out, that's all one word, SwitchWatchTV, and you can get 5% off any physical item from Play Asia. Don't miss out. Once these are gone, they're gone. I've got mine ordered already. Now, there are a couple of things I think that adds value on the package. Firstly, I think this game is great for those looking for some couch co-op action. Going from playing couch co-op with my wife on Samurai Warriors 5 to this within the same day, I felt both were great to be played with a friend or loved one by your side. Trigger Witch is much simpler, however, as it's kind of like an arcade game where you can just pick up a controller and immediately jump into the action without much fuss. And it's easy to jump out of too if you want to go make a cup of tea while your wife continues to massacre thousands of mushroom imp people things. Personally, you know my wife isn't much of a gamer, so we played it only for a short time to try it out, and I can definitely see this having some fine potential for those looking for some couch co-op action. Although I did find one sound effect rather intrusively annoying during my brief half an hour playing with my wife. If one leaves the screen to transition to the next, the second player is teleported to be with you, and that sound effect is obnoxious and constant, so I hope they decide to tone that down in a patch sometime. A second bit of value is the adjustable difficulty settings. Upon starting the game, you're given the choice of difficulty, but they are customizable, so you can choose how much damage you take and how much damage you give out. Always a nice touch. Then there is New Game Plus, where you carry over your weapons and upgrades in a more challenging version. It's always a nice bonus. I like it when games do that. My biggest problem with the game, however, is the ending, or at least near the ending. Now, I'm not going to go into any spoilers, don't worry about that, but the final reveal, the big boss, to be honest, that really fell flat for me, and I didn't like it. Now, I can see what they're going for. There's some mild humor smattered around the story, but the final act is just so out there and wacky, and they're going for like the big lols or something, you know, wanting to shock people, making them gasp out aloud, oh my god, I can't believe they've done that. But it's so tonally disconnected with the rest of the game and charming story, it really quite disappointed me. They should have kept it grounded and within the realms of the adventure we just had, but no, they abandoned that for some quick meme. It didn't ruin the game because I had so much fun up till that point, and I'm sure plenty of you out there may enjoy the randomness of the ending and all that, but it did sour the story for me personally. But overall, I think Trigger Witch is a great game for what it's going for. It's affordable, but well made, well constructed, and mixes top-down Zelda with twin-stick shooting. Yes, I could nitpick all day long about how it could be improved, and how they really should have taken a step back from the ending and thought, do we really want to throw away the story just for this? But, you know, the adventure you're getting, I think it's a fine game. Plenty of variety, decent runtime, nicely designed dungeons, great music, nicely implemented co-op, and fun, trigger-happy gameplay with plenty of value for your money. It's an 8 out of 10 from me. Alright, many thanks to our executive producers Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Boombox, Brent McLean, Jonathan Rumo, Santa Tartaruga, Alexander Cato, JCross7776, Elisa Punky Dooster, Michael Del Polito, Cigar Trucker, Cartoon Soren, Jack Severus, Velos, and Robotech. Thank you for your support. Plus you, yes you, watching right now. If you watched all the way through, what a legend you are. The longer you watch, the more it helps us grow. Be sure to give me a witch emoji in the comments so I know who the wonderful people out there are. Here are some of our other stuff: Monday physicals, Sunday digital bargains, and a smattering of other reviews such as our Samurai Warriors 5 review. We'll see you guys over there. Have a good one.